Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Oh, that's so funny. I had my microphone swinged around way over there. Didn't realize what was going on. Okay, can you guys hear me? Ladies and gentlebots, can you hear me? What is up? I'm just trying to see if anybody can hear me because I did not have my microphone hooked up. How crazy is that? Waiting to see if anybody can hear me because I might have to restart the stream. Okay, you got me? You guys got me? All right, here we go. Shiznit happens. Shiznit happens. In the great words of Snoop Doggity Dogg, shiznit happens. Yes, it does, folks. Okay, so let's start it over, ladies and gentlebots. Good morning, Vietnam. What is going on, everybody? This is Anthony with VR 365555555. Today is March 7th. It is 11:22 a.m. I started this a little bit earlier than this, but there was no audio. My microphone was actually swung over there. My microphone's right here, and it was swung over there, and the wire wasn't even connected. I completely forgot that I had that I had it like that. Okay, so we've got a lot of stuff to get into. Now, what I was saying at the very beginning of the show, but nobody heard me, is I've got an appointment that I've got to go to today, an important appointment that I've got to keep, and I don't have a ton of time to do this, but there's just too much shit. We've got to get into this. So what is going on? We are up to episode 118. It's Thursday. It's March 7th, 11:22. Let us get into this right here and right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw something on the screen here so we can get into our first topic of the day. And what a doozy is this? Okay. Damn it. It's not sized right. Why? Okay, let's see. I can resize this, but damn, I don't want to do that. But I'll just go ahead and do it real quick. Okay, so we'll resize this as we're just going to leave it in here. All right, guys. Yeah, Nintendo Labo VR. Who could have possibly thunk that this shit was going to happen? Is this a bad dream, guys? First of all, wait a minute here. Is this a bad dream? Okay, is this an April Fool's joke? Am I still dreaming? Did I actually wake up? Like, what the hell is going on here? Nintendo Labo VR. You couldn't in a million years get me to believe that this was going to happen in the way that this is happening. So this is how Nintendo gets into VR? Oh my God, this is how Nintendo gets into VR. How crazy. Okay, so hell hath frozen over, folks. Hell hath frozen over because Nintendo is actually going to release a VR-related project this year. I believe this is coming in April, in fact. Nintendo Switch going all VR all the time. Okay, not exactly. Now, let's go ahead and get into this whole thing. So last night, I hopped onto the intro nets, and I happened to bounce over to the Vive subreddit, and I saw a post on the Vive subreddit about Nintendo Labo VR something, right? And I clicked on it, and I shit you not, I looked at it, and I was like, is this a freaking... Wait a minute, what's the date? It's March 7th. It's not April 1st. What's going on here? This isn't April Fool's? And then so my very first instinct was, wait a minute, this is some kind of April Fool's thing. But I'm like, we still got like another 24 days or whatever. It's not quite April Fool's yet. What's going on here? Then I thought it was an elaborate fake. Like I thought somebody made a clever, elaborate fake. And I was like, man, this is a good fake. Good job. You did a really great job. This is a really great fake. Then I started bouncing around all over the internet, and apparently this is real. This is actually real. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This is actually real. What the hell is going on here? And then a number of different thoughts came into my mind. First of all, I've always, okay, look at that kid with just socks on, no shoes. Okay, what's up with that? Okay, but anyway, The first thing that kind of popped into my mind after I realized this is actually real, this is really happening, I'm not in a bizarro universe, this is real. The first thought that popped into my mind is, wait a minute, this is kids and this is VR. Something doesn't compute. There's that kid again in his socks. He definitely has an aversion to shoe wear. But I thought, this is kids, man. Nintendo VR kids, it doesn't mix what's going on here. Then if you look at it, you can see right on there, 6 plus, 7 plus. They actually have a little thing that talks about VR, and it basically says you need to be 7 years or older, which I found that to be very, very interesting. You need to be 7 years or older because Sony, you get into Sony with VR, and you need to be 12 years or older. Nintendo, there's socks again. No one likes shoes. So now you need to be 7 years or older instead of 12 years or older. Nintendo coming in 5 years lower than Sony. What's going on here? You think Nintendo would be the most risk-averse company out there in terms of lawsuits and all that type of stuff. But here they are going 7 years and older, but then it hit me. Wait a minute, it hit me, guys. This headset, this Nintendo Labo VR, whatever the heck this thing is, you actually have to hold it up to your face. There's no strap. So this isn't quite the VR that we thought it was, you know, so it's too heavy. See, the Nintendo Switch is too heavy to be held up to your face like that for too long. The screen does not have enough resolution. This is just a bad idea every which way you slice it. But Nintendo is going with this concept where, well, here's the thing. If you hold it up to your head and you look into it, you're only going to be in VR for about 6 or 7 minutes, right? Because your arms are going to get tired and then you're going to put it down. So for those purposes, yeah, you could be 7 years old, you could be 8 years old, 9 years old. It is all gizzy in the hizzy. If you're 6 years old or 5 years old, put those shoes on and do not play your Switch quite yet. So I was kind of surprised about the kid aspect of it. The other thing I was surprised by is I really thought we were going to get a refreshed Nintendo Switch. We were going to get a new Nintendo Switch that was going to have a 1080p screen, and that's how this whole thing was going to work out. Because we're talking about a 720p screen, right? And you're dividing it among 2 eyeballs. Unless you're a Cyclops, you're dividing this up. That is 640 by 720 per eye, probably at 60 hertz. So we're talking 640 by 720 at 60 hertz to each eye. So that's kind of crazy as well. The other thing I gotta say is Emily Rogers, goddamn, this girl is on the money. I told you guys, Emily Rogers, like back when we got into this whole thing, when there was this rumor that crept up about this, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago, we covered this story. There was a rumor about Nintendo getting into VR, that they're going to start it off with Labo and all of these kinds of things. And there was a rumor about it, and it was Emily Rogers. And Emily Rogers, I know her track record, like if you really analyze it, yeah, she's had some misses here or there, but she's had some big hits, and this is another hit. Nostradamus Jr., I'm passing the torch to Emily Rogers because she knocked it out of the park with this one with another great well, basically, she has an inside track. She's obviously got some sources inside Nintendo. And you think Nintendo would get sick of this after a while and demand to know who's leaking all this information to Emily Rogers. But there's that as well. Now, let's get into the actual reality of this thing. Is this good or is this bad? And that's the $64 million question. Is this good or is this bad for the future of VR? And man, I can argue either side of this coin. I can tell you that this is the worst possible thing that could ever happen to VR from the standpoint, like there is a part of me, legitimately, there is a part of me that thinks Nintendo hates VR. They just hate VR. They are not interested in VR. They want VR to die in a boat fire. okay? And so they're actively working towards those efforts by doing this exact thing. This is how VR dies, folks. This is how VR dies, because they give us this like crappy half-assed VR thing where everybody that tries it is like, this is what freaking VR is? Why are people talking about VR? This is a complete and utter nightmare. I'm holding it up to my head. My hands are getting tired. I'm getting a major headache. It's Virtual Boy 2.0. This is how you kill VR. You kill VR with a terrible, horrible product like this that doesn't really work and turns people off worse than Google Cardboard. Yada, yada, yada. So there's that point of view. You can take that point of view. And then there's the completely opposite point of view. There's the opposite point of view that this is single-handedly going to save VR. This is where everybody wears their socks. They sit on a white cube chair in a white background, and they have so much fun that they just can't stand it. And this is where VR takes over, and this is where the future happens. You start off with that small little hit of that crack cocaine. You hold it up to your head. Next thing you know, you got a full-blown HTC Vive setup, sprawling wires all over your room, and you are all in, baby. That's the way this thing starts. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. Now, going back to the resolution, though, like everybody will talk about 640 by 720 per eye. And Kev Gretz says, Nintendo killed VR back in 1995, and they're doing it again. And when you first played your Atari 2600, you didn't think, well, video games are always going to be crap. Okay, that's King Hell. You probably get my point, though. You get the point that I'm trying to make here. But there is the opposite point where maybe this is like, maybe they're crazy like a fox. You know, maybe this is like the Trojan horse. This is how you get VR implanted into the brains of young children, and you get them going into this VR thing. But what games are we going to play? Like, how is this going to work? I kind of feel like it's going to be a handful of mini games that are designed to be played for like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes in a short burst, because how long can you really hold the thing up to your head? It's a big problem. And so, man, I don't even know what to think here. Okay, so the price is $40 if you just want the basic VR headset part of it, which you still put your Switch into that. And then for $80, you can get the entire kit where you get all these little elephant things and, you know, all the little camera attachments and the bazookas and all of that stuff. So it's $40, it's $80. Probably a handful of mini games. I still don't know what to think about this, and I still don't know that this isn't like an elaborate, like, are we being punked? Where's the cameras? Are we being punked right now? Are all of us being punked? I don't know what's going on, but that is the Nintendo Labo. It is some crazy-ish, to be sure. Okay, so I gotta fix my screen here because this was 720p, so hold on a second. I'm gonna grab a rando trailer. Well, actually, I'll just grab that Indiana Jones thing that I just had right before. Somebody in chat was saying, what is this? What is this Indiana Jones thing? Well, this is called Eye of the Temple by Sanctum Dreams, and I think it looks pretty freaking cool. And the interesting thing about this game, it doesn't use any kind of locomotion, because basically you're standing on these little, well, you do need to have a little bit of a play area to work with. You have to have a little bit of a space to work with, but then you just take a step, you stand on a thing, you take a step back, you stand on a thing, you take a step over here, you stand on a thing, you take a step over here. So it's a very interesting idea. I like this game. I think this game looks pretty cool. I don't know when it's finally going to come out, but that is Eye of the Temple. I think it does look pretty sweet. And I did fix my aspect ratio, so that is a good thing. Okay, now, our next big story of the day, and do you guys want to talk about a Debbie Downer like we've never had a Debbie Downer before? And holy smokes, are we talking about a potential Debbie Downer, guys? This is a real bad one. Okay, let's switch over to the Webby browser. Let's go to our Webby browser, and we are in the Vive subreddit, and God damn it, I hate this story. I hate this story, but let's cover it. Let's hope that it's all bullshit. We'll figure it out. Let's figure this thing out. Okay, so the Valve HMD leaks. Now, before we get into this, we got to understand that, first of all, we had that very first Valve leak where all those pictures came out and everybody was like, oh my God, this is the new Valve headset. Look at this. This is incredible. There's all kinds of amazing things about it, you know, all of that. So we had the original Valve HMD leak. Then we had Denny Unger from Cloudhead Games. You know, he had a picture that was fuzzy and you couldn't really see what was going on, but a lot of people thought that was the Valve HMD. And so things were looking good. We also had David Jagano very recently say that he tried on the most comfortable headset ever, and we're going to find out more information in about 2 weeks, bye. And so a lot of people are like, well, that's either Rift S or it's the Valve HMD. And one or the other is going to show up at GDC. We're going to find out about this. So the hype, the momentum, was starting to build, and we're starting to think this Valve HMD, this is some real stuff, okay? And then we get this. We get this. Okay, now I got to break this down here. So Tuflock, not to be confused with Tupac, Tuflock did this post 20 hours ago. And basically he says, looks like the leaker strikes back. Same telltale signs. And then this information here is apparently the message that this leaker guy sent to Tupac. Okay, where's Biggie Smalls when you need him? So basically the leaker back in the day, when those screenshots first came out with the HMD, with the Valve secret HMD and all that, when that first jumped off, those pictures were sent to this guy Tuflock, and then he posted them, but they weren't his pictures. Okay, now apparently this is that same leaker, if you want to believe that. And here's what he wrote here. Okay, here's what he wrote. Remember when I leaked you those photos? I do. That thread was fun to read. I left the date on the computer by accident, but it didn't really matter. They never found out who, but I heard from a bird. Cell phones were banned on the factory floor after that story hit. They fired like half the Valve hardware team recently. Not leak related. Wonder how long it'll be until the remainder get the Jeri treatment. Can't be sending dead weight first class to Hawaii too many times. Okay, so you read all of this and you're like, what? You're like, huh? What's going on here? I don't understand what's going on. What? Can somebody explain to me? What? Can somebody translate this to me? Okay, here's the translation. The translation is this. They fired half of the Valve hardware team. Okay, so that is the key phrase in this entire thing. They fired half the Valve hardware team. Now, if this is actually true, this is basically a devastating blow to high-end PC VR and to all of our hopes and all of our dreams. Now, I will try to spin this positively a little bit later, but let's deal with the reality that we're dealing with here, because if Valve was about to launch a brand new HMD, you do not fire half of your hardware team. Now, maybe 6 months after you launch your headset, and if everything's running smoothly and everything's going well, maybe then you fire half of the hardware team, but not before a launch. This is not how this is done. The fact that they fired all those people, it seems much more likely that they basically made a decision and they said, you know what, scrap it. Scrap it, Johnny. Scrap it. Cancel it. Get it out of here. Forget it. Bad decision. We made a mistake. Cancel it, Johnny. That's typically the way these things work, okay? When you fire a whole bunch of people like that, that's usually the way this stuff works. Now, I'm going to try to spin it in a positive direction because I got to, right? I got to spin it in a positive direction. Okay, and in slightly related news, let's go back to the front. Hold on, we're not done with this story. We got a lot to dig into here. In slightly related news, Nat Brown is no longer employed at Valve. Now, I believe this guy was part of the VR hardware team. And what an interesting coinky-dink, folks. What an interesting coinky-dink that after this little leak comes out, we now get this news that Nat Brown was let go. So he says, so as of February 7th, I'm no longer doing VR at Valve. If I left your question unanswered or your bug unfixed, DM or natbro@gmail.com. Happy to help connect you with good folks still there. K, thanks, bye. And here's another K, bye. K, bye is the new thing, right? For everybody with these leaked HMDs and all of this stuff. And like this guy questioned, still at Valve though, right? Nope. Nope. He's no longer at Valve. This is very depressing. And I mean, so what do you take from this? What do you take from this? I don't know. It's not looking good. It's not looking good, folks. It really isn't. Okay, now let me try to spin it in a positive fashion. Let's try to spin it in a positive fashion. Okay, here's how you spin it. You spin it this way. Valve is not releasing this hardware themselves. They have a secret, unnamed hardware partner that goes by the name of LG, ladies and gentlemen. LG. No, I don't know. I don't know that it's LG. But let's speculate here. They very well could have a hardware partner that they're working with. Maybe they fired half of their internal hardware group because they're done. They finished it. Their part of the journey has come to a close, and now LG is going to take this ball and run with it. The hardware is done. It's been finalized. LG is going to show up at GD. And LG, look, I'm just inserting LG as placeholder until we find out who this company is, all right? But let's say LG shows up at GDC. Here's our brand new headset, the LG Ultra Gear, with special consideration to Valve. Thanks so much. And here is your brand new headset. So they finished, they're done. They wrapped it all up. They've designed it. They don't need to keep everybody on their hardware team there because now LG is taking over basically. They just need a few of their core people there, so they let half of them go. That is one possibility. That is absolutely one possibility. And, but I don't know. God damn it, this is crazy. Okay, let me go ahead and see what some people are talking about over here in chat. So Bojan Babik says, I call bullshit. Valve isn't allowing phones at all, before or after. They already had leak problems in the past. They aren't stupid. Okay, Steve Bishop, I'm calling BS as well. I've been in hundreds of manufacturing facilities, and it's commonplace for cell phones to be banned, in part so operators aren't screwing around. I don't think the cell phones being banned is the freaking camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back. I like the fact that the cell phones are banned. Like, I don't know why you guys are like clinging on to that. What I'm clinging on to is they fired half the Valve team. Okay, so I get it. So you guys are saying the fact that this guy's saying cell phones were banned, that's your clue on why this is completely bogus and this is completely phony. Yeah, I mean, I see your point there, okay? And Will Hindo says, hashtag fake news. This is completely, utter fake news. I wonder if this is one of those wag the dog scenarios, right? Where you want to have so much fake news and hype come out. Okay, but what about Nat Brown? Where's the fake news about Nat Brown? How is Nat Brown being let go as of February 7th? How is that fake news? Explain that to me, you Sherlock Holmes Juniors out there. Explain that to me, y'all. I mean, I want this to be fake. I really do. I want a freaking bomb-ass headset just like the rest of you guys. I mean, I absolutely want the Valve HMD to be a real thing. Okay, Bojan Babik says, Valve hasn't had a leak in years, like since Half-Life 2. The only ones are usually database-related stuff and that HMD photo, which is not confirmed to be true. That HMD photo was pretty freaking damning, okay? Now, that may be a product that never sees the light of day. That may have been a product that was canceled like a year ago. But whatever it is was real. Whatever it is was real. I think we can walk away with that. I think we can take that. Steve Bishop says, you don't ever fire half of your hardware team because after launch, you start working on evolution and new products. Well, you fire them if... Okay, but part of the statement here, Let's see part of this statement. Wonder how long it'll be until the remainder get the Jeri treatment. The remainder get the Jeri treatment. Now, what is the Jeri treatment? The Jeri treatment goes back to their AR efforts that was being led by Jeri. God, I forget her last name now. Okay, but Valve at one point, Valve was investigating AR. And they basically hired this lady. I forget what her name is. It's Jeri something. Damn it, I wish I had her last name now. Somebody could find that for me. Oh, Jeri Ellsworth. Okay, here it is. Jeri Ellsworth. So Jeri Ellsworth was basically hired on by Valve. And they gave her all the money she needed. They let her hire the team that she wanted to hire. And they went full into investigation into AR because Valve was like, look, we've got more money than sense. Let's go ahead and investigate AR. Let's investigate VR, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. We'll figure it out. Okay, and so what happened with Jeri Ellsworth is at a certain point, yeah, I missed it. It was Jeri Ellsworth. At a certain point, they let Jeri Ellsworth go. Well, basically, they called her in and they said, look, AR, we're done. We're scrapping AR. Forget it. It's over. It's done. It's over. The whole team is gone. It's all gone. And so she asked Gabe, well, can I take the AR stuff that we have? And he was like, sure, go ahead. We're done with it. Take it. And so that's how Cast AR and all of that. And so Cast AR still exists, blah, blah, blah. I believe they're trying to kind of flip it into something new. And they might be showing something in the near future, Cast AR. But basically, they freaking scrapped it and was like, boom, it's done. Sometimes these things happen, folks. Sometimes you come into work one day and they're like, there's a meeting. There's a full all-staff meeting at 10 a.m., all-staff meeting at 10 a.m. in the cafeteria. Everybody comes in there and it's like a freaking funeral, all right? And then the head guy comes out and he's like, I'm sorry to say, but we have canceled project whatever. And here's your pink slips, bye-bye. That shit happens. That shit does happen. I really got to hope that that is not the case of what is going on here. And Steve Bishop is saying half the hardware team equals HTC. They're getting rid of all the HTC guys. So everything is perfect. Everything is fine. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's an unknown situation here. It's an unknown quantity. Man, what a weird day, though. What an incredibly weird day where you get this crazily weird Nintendo VR Labo news, which is about as weird as it gets. And then also the Valve thing is very weird. And so you guys okay, so Bojan Babic says, if Valve fired half their hardware staff, it would be on all news. If this is real, it's probably end of contract, so totally normal. Okay, well, why don't we go to Upload VR? Let's refresh Upload VR. Valve laid off 13 employees, VR engineers among them. Well, it is all over the internet. There it is, guys. It's all over the internet. You see it on one website, it's gotta be true. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean anything, but man, where there's smoke, there's Elon Musk. And he's puffing on a blunt with Joe Rogan. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Okay, a statement I received from Valve last month, which February 7th, you know, that's when Nat Brown was let go. Okay, last month, 13 full-time employees were let go and a portion of our contractor agreements were terminated. It's an unfortunate part of business, but does not represent any major changes at the company. We thank those affected for their contribution and wish them well in future endeavors. And yeah, see, here's the Nat Brown said he stopped working at VR at Valve on February 7th. He's been key to Steam supporting external GPUs. Other former Valve employees who worked at the Steam controller and other projects list their work at Valve is ending in 2019. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is a breaking story. Where's Tyrell Wood when you need him? Because usually he has all the information on this stuff. See, we don't have an Emily Rogers. We don't have our own Emily Rogers. Like, if you're a Nintendo rumor monger, you got Emily Rogers, and she does a damn good job. Her batting average is pretty good. She's batting about .475, which is actually damn good. We don't have our own Emily Rogers. We've got Tyrell Wood, but dude is speculation central. You think I speculate? That dude speculates beyond extremes, all right? And I'm sure he's going to have about 7 videos about this probably before the day is over. Okay, well, let's get into some other news. I mean, you know, what are we going to say about this? This is speculation. We don't know what's going on, but we should probably get more information in the very near future. We do have GDC coming up. There's going to be a lot of people mingling. There's going to be a lot of whispers that are going to be whispered about. We're going to find out what the real deal is with this soon enough. We're going to find out. So what is going on here? We will find out. Okay, now, what else can we talk about today? Well, we've got to talk about the fact that there are a couple of major Shadow Legend VR. It is available, ladies and gentlebots. It is finally available. 25 bucks. March 7th is the release date. It is out there now. I understand that a lot of you guys have already bought this. Some people are downloading it as we speak, and it's a great move. It is an absolutely wonderful move. This game is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. I think maybe, see, like if they had consulted me, I would have said $29.99 because I think this baby can live at $29.99. But 25 bucks makes it just that more appetizing for everybody, makes it even better. I do have a Let's Play for this that is going to be published at about 1:30 p.m. So it's a little bit longer. I'm a little bit further into the game, and I'm just amazed by what I'm playing here. Now, one thing I'll say about Shadow Legend VR, there's going to be some people that play this that are going to be like, what's the big deal? What's the big deal about Shadow Legend VR? It's not that great. It's okay, but it's not Skyrim, and it doesn't do this, and it doesn't do that. And, you know, the combat is okay, but, you know, it's kind of like you're just walking around, and you're just kind of in these rooms. There's going to be people that don't get this game and don't think it's the greatest thing in the world. And it's not, I can't put it up there with Skyrim. I can't put it up there with Fallout 4 VR. I can't put it up there with Lone Echo. I can't put it up there with Talos Principle. I'm not going to say that this is one of the 10 best VR games on planet Earth. I am going to say it's one of the 50 best, though. I will tell you that. I do believe this is one of the 50 best VR games that is currently available out there. There's so many things that they did so right in this game. Basically, the bottom line here is what Vitruvius VR, what they tried to do, like they set out to make a certain type of game, and what they tried to do, they executed flawlessly, absolutely flawlessly. Now, does that mean that this game is going to be everything to everybody? No, it doesn't. This isn't Skyrim. This is not Skyrim. This is a different kind of a game. There are going to be people that complain about certain aspects of this game. There's going to be people that say, well, it's kind of okay, but this and that. But freaking-tastic. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really love this game. I think it's awesome. That is Shadow Legend VR. Now, let's not forget, though, we've got another big banger that hit today. Audica is available now. Release date is March 7th. This baby is out there. 20 bucks. 20 bucks. It's a great price, you know. This is why it is so difficult. The fact that you've got a very well-known developer in Harmonix Music Systems, okay? A very well-known developer. I can guarantee you this game is going to have polish. This game, the sound effects, the menus, everything is going to feel good. It is a solid developer. And then they drop a bomb like this, and they drop it for 20 bucks, $19.99. And this is where I have to talk about all you indies out there. How are you going to compete with this? Like, how is Contact Last Defense or whatever, you know, that game I played a couple weeks ago where you're like shooting asteroids that are coming at Earth, and it's an indie game, and it's not terrible. It's not a horrible game. There is some entertainment value to be had in it. But how the hell, like that game is like $18, $19. How does it compete with something like Audica? You know, for the same 20 bucks. This type of stuff makes it so incredibly hard for all the indie developers out there, because how do they release their game for 20 bucks when you've got high quality stuff like this that's 20 bucks? And then you've got a million sales everywhere where you've got another million incredible games that are being sold for 20 bucks. And man, I don't know how the indie developers, like, I don't know how they're going to survive when you got stuff like this and you got Shadow Legend for 25. So those are two brand new games that were released today. It is prime time. Okay, now let's move on. There is a game called The Woods VR Escape the Room. We've been tracking this game a little bit. Blue Entropy Studios is the developer. They've done a lot of these escape the room things. And I thought we might get a date for this because they have a brand new trailer that just came out. And a lot of times a brand new trailer comes out and then at the very end of the trailer it says coming April 22nd, you know, Vive and Oculus or whatever. But I don't think we get that at the end of this trailer. So we still don't have a date. But we do have a brand new trailer for The Woods VR Escape the Room. Let's go ahead and check this out. So I'm going to bounce back over here to our standard scene. I'm going to pump up the volume on this, and let's go ahead and check out the trailer for The Woods VR Escape the Room. How are you going to escape the room? You're in the woods. You're out in the middle of the woods. Okay, let's find this.
Can you hear me? I can't believe you're alive. Thank God. Listen, you gotta help me out of here. I don't have much to work with over here. When I get down, I'll go get help for you.
Alrighty, well there it is, The Woods VR Escape the Room. It is coming soon, Blue Entropy Studios. This is a new trailer, doesn't really show a hell of a lot more than what we've already known about this game. We know that you're in the woods, we know that you're like in some kind of cage. I think you start off in a cage and you're like, what the hell is going on here? How did I get in this cage? And then I think you get out of the cage and then you start exploring other areas. Does look kind of cool. I mean, this might be slightly cool. So, you know, we do have some minor interest in this, to be sure. Let's see what else is going on. We do have another game that was announced today, and it's called Skyworld Kingdom Brawl. And we've got a very short little teaser trailer. It is a collaboration between Vertigo Games, which is the publisher and part developer of Arizona Sunshine, along with the Jaywalkers, and they also publish the regular Skyworld game, which is developed by Wolfdog. And this is a combination between Vertigo Games and Vive Studios, a collaboration. So let me go ahead and grab this trailer. It is very, very brief, so do not blink or you might miss it. Let's check this one out. That's it. That's it, folks. So yeah, this is a classic teaser trailer here, but we do find out that April 2nd is in the mix. So April 2nd, this game will be arriving. This is Skyworld Kingdom Brawl, and this is like a card game. I've never had any interest in any card game ever, other than like poker. Poker is really the only, like I've never gotten into like these Pokemon things or like Magic the Gathering or any of that stuff. Just never got into it. But I know they are popular to some degree. So that is Skyworld Kingdom Brawl. That is coming on April 2nd. All right, what else can we get into? Well, one thing that we can check always, of course, let's go back to our Webby browser. And one thing I get into every single day of the year, 365 days of the year, and that is the Oculus Daily Deal, because they have an Oculus Daily Deal every single day. I mean, it's the sun comes up, you've got a daily deal. If it's raining, you've got a daily deal. If it's snowing, you've got a daily deal. So there's a daily deal today, right? Wrong. Apparently there's no daily deal today. At least I'm not seeing it like the Oculus Daily Deal. So here's where I'm at. I'm at oculus.com, experiences Rift. And normally right here is where you have the daily deal. And yesterday, we still had apps made with female leads and apps made by women. And, you know, we still had this stuff yesterday, and we still had a daily deal. I forget what the daily deal was for you. I think it was Blind. Blind was the daily deal yesterday. We don't technically have a daily deal today that I can tell, but we do have The Limit. The Limit starring Michelle Rodriguez, starring Norman Reedus, and you, starring you, bro. It is 50% off. This normally goes for a 10 spot. It is $5. It is intense. This is basically like a 360-degree video thing, right? And it was directed by Robert Rodriguez. He's the guy that did Sin City. He's also the guy that did like Spy Kids and all that stuff as well. I've heard some mixed reports on this. Like some people think, yeah, it's a video, you know, it's a 360 video, it's kind of dumb. But then other people say, but it's actually kind of worth checking out. Like there's some halfway decent things that go on with The Limit. But so there is that. But I don't think we have an official daily deal today. I mean, I was looking for it. Like I can go over here on sale now. You know, we can click on this, and they do have a number of games that are on sale, like Affected the Manor is 33% off. You know, they've got Counterfight. Actually, this is not too bad. You know, the original Counterfight for $2.37, that is not a terrible deal. So they do have a few things that are on sale. Yeah, Torn, 70% off. That's actually, you know, sales again, god damn it, so many sales. Like I just talked about how indie developers got to deal with stuff like Audica being $19.99, and then they got to deal with Torn being on sale for $9. Like god damn, it's got to be tough to be an indie developer nowadays, because you got such incredible deals, sales always jumping off, and some of these sales are damn good. A Chair in the Room is $20. Let's see if there's any other really good deals here. Scion Bolt's $8. And that's pretty much it. So really, Townsman VR, you know, I heard some good things about Townsman VR back when that first came out. That is $6. And then in chat, I believe some people were also posting some good deals in chat. Like VR Spry Guy says Killing Floor Incursion is only $6.60 on Gamersgate. And then also, I think yesterday, I missed it in chat, but yesterday, let's go back over here to Audica. I think Pixel Ripped 1989, is that on sale? Yeah, Pixel Ripped 1989 is on sale, $12.50. This is 50% off. Absolutely one of my favorite VR games of the entire year of 2018. They do have that little Nightmare bonus level that was added for free as well. And so Pixel Ripped 1989, that is half price. Just so many great deals. MainFan says, I don't get Ant's hype about Audica. Well, let me explain it to you, MainFan. See, Harmonix, they sent me a check for $200 and they bought my hype. No, that's not it. What it is I just watched the trailer for Audica and it just looks so smooth, man. It just looks like it was done right. I don't know if it was. And maybe I'll come to find out that Audica kind of sucks. I don't know. That's a possibility. I mean, it's within the realm of possible. Absolutely no question about it. All right, well, that is basically everything that I had built in before this show started. Like I said, I've got an appointment that I've got to get to, so I've only got about 10 minutes because I got to get the hell out of here. But why don't we bounce over to Road to VR, and let's give this a quick refresh to see what's going on here. And so, you know, this is still in the news, guys. This Oculus Rift is out of stock all over the web, but we kind of have gotten conflicting reports on this. One story we get says it's sold out everywhere. You can't find it anywhere. Another story says, oh, Amazon has it back in stock. Best Buy has it back in stock. But I guess Variety is reporting, you know, like basically they've read Reddit a few times and they've seen all the reports and they think, oh, there must be some smoke. There's smoke where there's fire, right? And so Rift is out of stock. Rift S is incoming. Yeah, that's what we talked about on Monday. I don't know. Something's got to be incoming, right? Something's got to be incoming. I just don't know exactly what it is. Of course, Nintendo has their Labo. Skyworld Kingdom Brawl. We heard about that one. So let's go back over here to Road to VR. Let me go ahead and give a quick refresh to that. Valve has laid off 13 employees. Oh my God, call the cops. 7 Nintendo Switch VR games we're dreaming of. Yeah, this is where we get into these kinds of stories. Breath of the Wild VR and all this stuff. See, what we're going to actually get with Labo is little tiny bite-sized experiences. I don't think we're getting Mario World VR. I don't think we're going to get that. Oh, you know what? This is big news. I knew there were some other stories that I kind of saw and I didn't get to it. This is a major story right here, guys. This is Borderlands 2 VR. They have added support for the PlayStation Aim Controller. How awesome is that? I mean, this is one of those rare stories where you're like, damn, that is pretty sweet. Ask and ye shall receive. Sometimes Gearbox Software have officially added PS Aim Controller support to Borderlands 2 VR. Yeah, this is super awesome. In fact, let's go over to the PlayStation VR subreddit, because let me go ahead and refresh this. A lot of people are talking about this. A lot of people are hyped about this. Borderlands 2 VR Aim Controller is now supported. This is super awesome news. And it's good news for me because I barely have played this game. I've barely played it. And now I have a reason. I have a reason to fire this puppy up again. Borderlands 2 VR with aim controller support. The aim controller is an awesome thing, man, because the fact when you're holding the aim controller, like if I'm playing Chroma Gun or if I'm playing Farpoint or if I'm playing Firewall 0 Hour, you have that aim controller in your hand. You're moving it around. You see the pinpoint accuracy. Then it gets completely out of whack and you have to shake it. But then you see the pinpoint accuracy again and you are immersed, baby. And then also it's got, it's got the thumbstick on it so you can kind of move around and do that as you're using the gun. And Borderlands 2 VR, it's all about guns, right? So I think it's a match made in heaven. I think this is cool. I definitely want to get back into Borderlands 2 VR, and I've got a great reason to get back into that, so that is sweet. Summer Funland. It finally arrived, guys. Summer Funland is out and available. This was supposed to be available on March 1st. It didn't happen. It took a long-ass time, but here it is. It's 7 days late, but it has now arrived. It's $20 for Summer Funland. I played this on the Vive. Well, I played it on my Oculus Rift. I played the Steam VR version of this game, and it's actually pretty damn good. Like, this game is actually pretty cool. And this part right here is one of the most enjoyable parts of the entire game. In fact, I honestly believe that they can take this little sequence where you're in this underwater submarine. It's like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the movie, basically. They could take this little sequence here and Monad Rock, what they could do is they could create a location-based VR experience based just on this little sequence. And I know exactly how they can do it. With help from the VR floor. Trademark, the VR floor. Yeah, so you buy this VR floor, right? It's going to be 4 feet by 5 feet. You stand on it, you stand in the middle, you start up this sequence, and it starts rumbling, and it starts moving, and it starts shaking, and you're on the VR floor. That's really the only thing you need to make this experience even more awesome. Really enjoyed the underwater part of this. And then, of course, there's all these other little mini games as well. It's kind of this little theme park, and you can kind of walk around. There's little shooting galleries and stuff like that. There's also a Batman sequence, unofficial Batman sequence. And, you know, it's Summer Funland is pretty freaking cool. $20, I wish it was maybe $14.99. It'd be a little bit easier to recommend, but Summer Funland is pretty cool, so I'm happy for that. So that is finally available. Okay, you know what? It's 12:10. I've got 5 minutes left, and I got to get out of here. Immortal Legacy. There's new gameplay footage for this. It comes out on March 20th. I did not grab that trailer yet, so we'll probably get into that tomorrow. Just wanted to see, can we stop seeing the same posts every day? Yeah, that would be nice, but unfortunately, no, we will continue to see the same posts every day. And that's pretty much what's going on over here at the PlayStation VR subreddit. All right, let's hit up Oculus. You know what? There's a very interesting post on this Oculus Rift subreddit that I wanted to talk about here. Okay, it might have been this story here. Valve laid off 13 employees, VR engineers among... No, it wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. Shadow Legend VR is available on Oculus Home. That's good. Nat Brown is no longer doing VR at Valve. Where is it? There's this one story. Okay, let me see here. Let me go back up here. Shadow Legend. Okay, here it is. Okay, so Valve has fired half the hardware team recently, according to the guy that leaked the Valve HMD pics. Again, speculation. This is all speculation. Do not get your panties in a bunch. Oh, look at Shadow Legend is my game of the year so far in 2019. Oh, that's Paradise. It's our guy's Paradise. Yeah, I kind of agree. Right now, it probably is game of the year at this point, and I haven't played Audica yet, so, you know, that's part of it. But there's a really good post that was in this thread that I got to read. It kind of sums up, like, kind of how I feel about this. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so this is in response to possibly the Valve HMD basically being a dead duck. And maybe maybe Valve is not going to save us, right? You know, I mean, you could read some of these headlines. Nat Brown has been let go, and, you know, all this stuff is happening. And so you're kind of thinking, oh, man, Valve freaking pulled the plug on their internal VR HMD. This is just devastating, right? So this guy, Chaos Fire 235, he says, oh, don't mind me, just melting into a puddle of sadness and crushed dreams in my chair. And I read this and I was like, oh man, that is such a good post. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm just melting into a puddle of sadness and crushed dreams in my chair. That is the perfect, like when I first saw this story and kind of like half of the hardware team is fired and all this stuff, that's basically how I felt too. That is just a great post. Absolutely. And this guy, Half-Life 3 at long last confirmed. Like, people will always, they'll spin everything into Half-Life 3. Oh my God, half of the hardware team was fired? Half-Life 3. Oh, here's our boy Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve is in the mix. Imagine my shock, this person. Yeah, so some real funny quotes all over the place about these Valve HMD stories. All right, it's damn near 12:15. I got to get the heck out of Dodge. So I will see everybody tomorrow. Let me go ahead and switch back over to my standard scene here. And let me grab my little outro logo image like so. All right, guys. Well, that's going to go ahead and do it for today's show. But today is Shadow Legend VR Day. It is out there. It is available. It's $25. Vitruvius VR. They stepped up to the plate. They stepped up to the plate, man. They stepped up to the plate. The pitch came right down Broadway, and they launched that shit. They absolutely launched it. Who could have possibly imagined that the developer of Mervils, a VR adventure, would deliver what is quite possibly one of the 30, 40 best VR games we have in all of VR. Shadow Legend is going to be up there with your Lone Echoes, with your Talos Principles, with your Super Hots, with all of the great, with Resident Evil 7, with, you know, some of the absolute classics of classics, Vanishing Realms, better than Vanishing Realms, I think we can safely say. Carnage Chronicles, different, but in some ways better. Like, dude, Shadow Legend is nice. It is a very nice game. I really like it. There is going to be a little bit of blowback, though, because some people are going to go into it expecting the world, and then they might be a tiny bit disappointed. So there will be a little bit of blowback by that. But I got to bounce the hell out of here. I've got an appointment to keep. And I will see everybody tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Can you believe that? It is already Friday, and I should have an episode somewhere around the 11 a.m., 11:15, 11:20, somewhere in that range. See everybody tomorrow. Yeah, go ahead and like the show, guys. Our Gambo says 63 watched, but we only got 16 likes. Do we have 2 dislikes? I believe there is somebody that personally dislikes me. There's somebody that hates me, and they're following me around wherever I go. I must have said something really bad. It might have been one of these developers. It might have been some game. I ripped a new one in some game, you know, and the developer hates me. And so he's following me around. And so every little thing, 2 dislikes. I hop on VR Roundtable, 2 dislikes. Everywhere I go, I get 2 dislikes. So somebody out there hates me, but you know what? I'm going to keep reporting it the way it is. I'm going to call it the way I see it. I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can be. And if that means there's a lot of dislikes in my future, oh well, tough titty, said the kitty. All right, I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Play Shadow Legend VR, guys. Take it easy. See you guys tomorrow. Later.